Good evening, guys. It's Phil. It's All Leeds TV, and we are back with another big match preview. Thank you if you are joining us, and fuck you if you're not. Fingers crossed you will. But yeah, we've got a special big match preview for an FA Cup fourth round. So this is probably the only one of these you've seen in like 7 years' time. Nice to finally have a fourth round preview to go through, isn't it, guys? Welcome along. Obviously, I've got Mike and Chris with me. I'm going to come to Mike first because it's been a little while, and obviously you're going to have to deal with this shit tonight because whenever there's a comment, it's going to cover your face unless you go like this and just right up the boob section.
Just look weird, then, don't I? I was like, yeah.
So what I'll do is when you're not talking, then I'll put a comment up, and when you are talking, then I'll just won't.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
How are you doing anyway? Nice to have you back with us.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Long time. Thought I'd pop in once in a while.
You finally put the TikTok down then, yeah?
For now, mate.
No, you'll be fucking TikToking halfway through.
I might go live in a minute on there.
Please don't. I don't think poor Chris is ready for that. Chris, welcome back. It's been what, a couple of weeks? Where have you been?
It's been a while, yeah. Haven't been to. It's been I missed the last game. I've missed a couple of previews. Let the side down and
shocking behaviour.
Yeah, but I'm here now.
Is it a woman? Because that's lad's excuse. What's yours? Is it a woman?
I'd say it's work. Work's getting in the way. So
so it is a woman.
Well, I wouldn't say so.
Well, yeah. So we're obviously here to talk about an FA Cup fourth round tie away at Accrington Stanley. As Chris was rightfully pointing out to me before we started this stream, we're not going to have an opposition preview section on this podcast because none of us know a fucking thing about Accrington Stanley. This is where one of you makes the joke, who are they? And then the other goes.
Well, I was about to, but you just said it. So
there you go.
Exactly.
Go. Do it now. You may as well. There we go. Wonderful.
Who are they?
So I think they even have it in like their Twitter bio or something, don't they? So yeah, not going to be any sort of insightful tactical gossip here if that's what you've joined in for, but we are going to obviously go through the usual stuff of talking about the updates since the last game. How did we feel about Brentford? Chris, you weren't there. Mike, I've not spoken to you since, so I want to see what both you guys thought of that. And yeah, just sort of do our usual lineup predictions, score predictions. So if you're with us, guys, get some questions in the comments if you want to ask anything in particular. First thing I'm going to quickly flash up is Scooby-D2. I fully respect this comment, but big match preview, I think, has slightly more of a ring to it than mediocre cup tie preview. So I can see what you're going for, but we're going to stick with big match preview, even though we acknowledge it's not that much of a big match, but yeah, we get it. So Mike, I'll ask you first. In fact, I'll get up to speed with where you're at because I haven't sort of had this chat with you for a while. How do you think things are going at Leeds? You're quite a positive Leeds fan. Are you annoyed at all, or do you think it started to pick up a bit? How do you think the momentum is feeling at the moment?
I think the way that we're playing is getting there. It's just like the results aren't going there. I think that's the main issue with a lot of fans.
Yeah,
I can see what they're trying to do, and you can see it in some of the plays. It's just the results, sloppy defending at times, bad referee calls.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, I like Marsh. I want him to stay. At least give him a chance. I know we can all say, he's had one summer, now into the second transfer window. But you could look at the likes of Arsenal. I'm not going to say we're going to end up winning the league in 2-3 years, but they progressed with him. And I do think the results will change. We've got some reasonable fixtures coming up that we could get a fair few points out of, take away them lot across the Pennines. But the fixtures are there for us.
Yeah. I think it's and I've said this on a few shows. I need to sort of speak to Chris as well and get a catch up on where I was at with Chris because it's been that long as well. But on recent shows, I was saying like there was kind of a a weird stasis that we're stuck in where I don't really want to sort of plant my flag anywhere yet, because I want to give the club a bit of time over this transfer window to see like what's going on with the takeover, what's going on with the managerial position, what's going on with the signings that we make, and then I'll sort of pitch at where I'm at. And I'll be honest, after the Brentford game, I was annoyed. I was annoyed that we didn't get more out of the game. But, you know, now that things have settled down a bit, compared to where we were, I do think the football has improved ever so slightly. I don't think we're necessarily getting the rub of the green. I don't think we're getting the results that we're deserving. And I'm not gonna. I think at one point the Brentford game, if the Cardiff Cup game had gone wrong, I think there was a potential for that Brentford game to have been Marsh's last game. If we would have lost that game, I think he would have been gone. But we didn't lose that game. We had a real confidence boost in the result, obviously, in the second leg against Cardiff. We had a bit of a confidence boost, I suppose, to the players, not necessarily the fans, but in the performance in certain aspects against Villa, despite the result. I think these performances and the Cardiff result in isolation could represent something of a turnaround if we were to go and wipe the floor with Accrington Stanley tomorrow, get something out of that Nottingham Forest game, and then that sets us up for those two crunch games with Man United. But at the moment, for me, I think tomorrow is important in a way, in terms of seeing like where's the momentum at? Can we carry on? Can we turn it into something? Chris, where do you see the ebb and flow of Leeds United at the moment? Is it down? And you are not a down in the dumps Leeds United fan. You never have been. You never will be. But is it ebbing towards Marsh out, which sometimes for me it feels like it's only ever a couple of games away or a couple of results away from, or is it ebbing towards Marsh in?
I'm okay in general. I think all the managers down at the bottom end of the table, they're never too far away from the sack. You've had Rodgers constantly under threat, Moyes under threat, Lampard is now gone. Every manager down there is only 4 or 5 losses away from being sacked. I mean, we're kind of a bit unlucky with the fixtures. Obviously, playing Man U twice, that could end pretty badly. I think we've got a couple of other tough games. I think the odds we've got an odd sort of winnable game in and amongst all of them, but I think this at the moment, you look at the table. There's 5 teams below us. I know we're not far from being in the bottom, but we're only going to get better. We've got key players coming back. We've got obviously Bamford, Sinistera. We've not seen much of these two at all. We've had a really good window so far. The players we brought in, so I think we're only going to improve. I can't see how it can get much worse than what it's been for the first part of the season. So. Yeah, I think we're going to steadily climb the table.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. I think I definitely agree with this, and I have agreed with that sentence from Danny for a little while now. I can't see from the way that the board are acting that it looks like they are going to dispatch of him easily. I think they'll give him time, and it looks as though they're bringing in his people. And I know, Mike, from speaking to you privately before the show, that you want to get on to the January signings and potential another signing coming in. I'll be honest, and Chris, you know in particular how much of a pessimistic Leeds fan I am. I'm the opposite of you, but I do feel as though I don't feel hope is lost in a weird way. I feel like obviously the last 3-4 results haven't been great, but I have seen enough of the performance and enough of a fight from the players. I don't feel like they have left him. I feel like the players are a bit behind him. It doesn't look like a dressing room that's turned. And for me, if the results start to go that way, and let's be honest, if you can get any fucking win against Man United, home or away, that will do a hell of a lot of favours for everybody. But beating Accrington starting tomorrow, and then obviously getting something out of that Forest game, ideally a win, because that's what's missing, isn't it, Mike? There's a long run of games up until that Liverpool and Bournemouth, back to back. There was a long run of games without a win then, and then since those games, there's now a long run of games without a win again. It's just a win. That's all Jesse Marsh needs, isn't it?
I do think that we definitely need to feel a strong side, get the momentum building, go into Forest, knowing what's what, game plan, management, kick on from there. Like you said, if a win against them lot will be great. I personally would be happy with 1 or 2 points, a draw in each game, or at least one draw, but a decent performance, showing that we can still match them and not get hammered 5-2 like we have done in the last few games, 6-1, whichever it is.
So you'd take 1 or 2 points out of the 2 games against Scum?
Looking the way that both teams are playing at the moment, yes.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I'd take 1 out of the 2 games.
Realistically, yeah, I want 6 points.
Yeah, obviously.
Is it going to happen though? That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
I can see us probably
6-2
I think we might win the second game. It's just,
I hope so. I think the Leeds Man United thing, and obviously we're going to come on to it when it comes around, and the big match preview then Scooby-Doo will be a genuine fucking big match preview. But
yeah,
I think you can take those games in isolation, where I don't think it tells you a right lot about the managers of either team at the time. No. It's like a cup final, innit? And people will take the piss and say, "Oh, it's your cup final, not ours." Fuck off, you know it is. It is. It's like a cup game, and it could go either way, and usually it goes theirs. But yeah, I mean, before then, it is important to not fuck up tomorrow for a start, and we'll touch on everything into tomorrow and why I don't think we will. But then obviously Forest is important as well. We've got to get that win in the league. We've got to get moving up the table, as Chris says. But I was saying at the start of the transfer window, I felt that we had to wait and pass judgment on Jesse Marsch once this transfer window's done and the players that he wanted are in. And up until a few weeks ago, I'd say up until the day Max Weber signs, the amount of injuries in our squad and that starting 11, if you took a Tyler Adams out of it or you took Melier out of it, you would start to think it's not that far off a side that should be fighting relegation. But say, for example, Weston McKennie comes off, and we'll get on to Weston McKennie. You've got 3 signings that could have come in this window where you kind of look at our squad now with all the people that are fit, of course. That is where the big difference as well. Yeah. Sinisterra's back. Rutter's now in. I'm not going to play the pronunciation game. I'm calling him Rutter because I'm Verber's in. McKennie might be in. Then you've got Rodrigo banging form. Bamford's back and scoring goals. The only person in that front line that doesn't look in great form is Aronson, but now you can afford to rest him. Like, we have fucking options, especially going forward. I'm not necessarily too down on this. I think, and people have been quick to get into the board and Victor Orta for the recruitment, but if we can pull off this Weston McKennie deal, which I'll be honest, when Click went, I didn't see us replacing him. If we can pull that off, I'd say that's 3 huge fucking boxes ticked in this window. And they haven't done what they did previous season. They haven't fucked up. They haven't stood still. They have invested, and it looks to me like that could be enough to keep us up. It's a huge window, Chris. What do you make of the ones that have come in so far? And would you like to see that third one get over the line?
I think we definitely need the third one over the line, and it's kind of, well, I haven't seen it recently, but it seems to be getting less and less likely. It started at sort of 20 million, went to 30 million. Then
I've now heard it's loan to buy.
Turned into a loan. The other player we were looking at, again, that was sort of 20 million. Now he's been sold for 10 million.
Yeah.
It all seems a bit crazy, but the 2 we've got in, I'm happy with. I think Verber especially, he just seems so sort of calm, composed at the back. I mean, for our new left back, he seems to be better at centre back, or that's where he's played so far. Or he's more.
I think you were on the show where I said he was the centre back, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, he's played centre back and centre mid, hasn't he, so far? But maybe he can play left back. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. But I think wherever he plays, I think he's going to be a solid player to go in, and I think easily gets into our back four wherever he goes. Rutter, I don't know much about him, but I'm just hoping. We've spent 35 million. Seems to be quite similar to a lot of our attacking players. That's my only concern, that we haven't got another number 9. But I think he'll slot in somewhere, whether it's on the right. Looking forward to seeing him play hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, well, from what Marsh says, and obviously we'll come on to the press conference and the team news and stuff, it does sound like he's playing. Sounds like Sinistera as well. He's basically guaranteed he's playing. There's going to be a rotation, but it'll be good to get a first glimpse of him. The transfer stuff, obviously, I know, Mike, the question you asked me last night was which did I want out of Unahi and McKennie. I think that question's now, as Chris alluded to, kind of the question anyway, because Unahi has now gone for 10 million quid, which is half of apparently what they were trying to drag out of us to stay in France, basically. But yeah, in terms of the transfer window, I think you're happy with the two that we've got in, but you'd accept that we probably could do with that third one, right?
I do. Yeah, we do need another midfield. I think it's definitely. I think it will happen. I think there might be another spanner in the works. From I was reading all the reports beforehand. Again, as what Steve has just said, that we've offered 30 million, they want 35 million. I think it works out as a 4.4 million difference between it. I know that from reports saying that we've offered bonuses, they don't want it. And now
it's
they're
a bit like the Gakpo scenario again, isn't it?
Exactly.
We'll give you a bunch of magic beans if we qualify for the Champions League this year.
And now they're offering a loan with the exact same amount at the end of the year, which it questions as to. Yeah, I get that. I just feel that if you want a player that much, pay it. We've got the investment from the 49ers.
There's still time left, isn't there, in the transfer window?
Yeah.
You know what we're like. We like to fuck about a little bit, don't we, in the transfer window? Drag it on as long as we can. Drain every penny out of it.
I think it will happen Monday or even on transfer deadline day.
Yeah.
I do love a good transfer day scenario like last year.
Yeah, or it'll just fall apart at bang on 11 o'clock or 1 minute past 11 or something like that.
And then we'll just get some random 18-year-old that hardly anyone's heard about.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think the window is important. I think if they do manage to get a midfielder, and it is looking like it's Weston McKennie, if they manage to get a midfielder over the line, I'm going to say that I am content that they are showing me that they're at least trying to not just watch us get relegated like they clearly did last season. They didn't do enough last season, and they gambled on our future, and it was dangerous. This season, they're not doing that. And, we can go into the conversation of who's putting the money in. Let's be honest, we know who's putting the money in. We ain't getting these deals over the line unless it's the 49ers paying for it. They may not be paying the whole lot up front, but they're the ones stumping up the cash. Victor Otto with the hoodie is a pretty big giveaway. But we've obviously seen Max Weber in Alicia, and we know that he looks brilliant so far. We know a little bit of what to expect of Georgie Rutter, whatever his name is, and we're going to find out more about that tomorrow. That's pretty nailed on. But just I don't know how much of Juventus or the US men's national team or other teams that he's played for you've watched, but from what you've seen of Weston McKennie, do you think he's what we need? And with the money that is being thrown around, do you think it's, because I know you go on Twitter and you see people going, I don't want to pay that much for him. I want him, but it's too much. Do you care about how much we spend, or would you just get him in, or what do you think? Do you think he's what we need, Mike?
Yes, system-wise, he is another system player. Like Tyler Adams, there was all these reports beforehand. Why are we getting him? Look at his stats and all of that at his last club. And now look at him. He's been our signing of the summer. Weston McKennie is very similar to that. He's a system-based player, and he will suit us more. He can play box-to-box. He can play attacking mid. He can do a double pivot, but he's better off in a 3. I do think that he will be the perfect signing that we can guess at the moment. Yeah.
Chris, what about you? You think it's one of them? Does the money matter?
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, that's what you got to pay. I mean, we tried to spend sort of £10 million on a player, and you don't get anything for that in the Premier League. So it's just a solid sign-in to replace sort of Click, who's gone. If you look beyond our starting 2 in midfield, we've got nobody. We're looking at Greenwood, we're looking at Forshaw whenever he's around. So it's kind of like a no-brainer. We need someone there. They're going to get injured. They're going to be out of form, and we need someone off the bench. And I guess I'd like to see some of JB come through as well, but yeah, he's probably not quite ready yet, is he? But so yeah, I'd say a good signing, but yeah, hope it comes off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Steve saying here, McKennie, great box to box, good in the air, plays multiple positions. Think he'll be a very good signing. I mean, the most recent obvious bit of watching him was World Cup next to Tyler Adams, and I think first of all, the fact that Click's gone, it's good to see us actually replacing a fucking midfielder that's left. Because, you know, people will always make the joke, still not replace Samu Saiz, and that kind of thing. Like, it's nice to see a body goes, a body comes in. I don't like the idea that I've heard that maybe we might be reliant on one player leaving to bring one in. That wouldn't sit right with me. I don't want to see Jack Harrison go out the door so that we can bring a central midfielder in. And we should probably come on to Harrison actually in a second. But for me, we had 3 positions that needed filling. Left back and striker, why it wasn't done in the summer is, I suppose, a question that's now redundant, but they've been done. Let's get this centre mid done. I don't think the money does matter. I do think Leeds United are doing the right thing in a weird way by dragging this out, let it go to the deadline, because they've just been deducted 15 points. As always with Juventus, they've done something dodgy and they're in financial shit for it. So take the piss. Don't go and give them 35 million quid. One way or another, we can bully them out of 5 mil, maybe even 10. I reckon we could get, if he's a player that we could get for 20 million quid, I think for the sake of having him next to Tyler Adams, who he's played in the World Cup with, Brendan Aronson, who he knows well from playing at the World Cup as well, knows Marsh, knows these players, like Mike says, knows the system. I think it's for the sake of the age that he comes in at as well. We got a good 5 years out of him. Don't get me wrong, he's not someone where I'd say go and blow big money on him. He's not. People will say coming from a big club in Juventus, but I have never seen him set the world alight there. I've seen him score goals for them in the Champions League against English clubs, but at the end of the day, I am happy to bring him in. I would, in answer to your question last night, Mike, if I had a choice between the two, I would have gone McKennie over Anahi. I don't think Anahi's what we're looking for. If you want a ball carrier, we've got loads, to be honest now. We've got Brendan Aronson that doesn't do it very well anymore for some reason, but Willie Nonto's the ultimate ball carrier at the moment. Somerville's doing a great job of doing that in the wide areas. So for me, I think someone that can get up and down and can support Adams in particular. And like Chris said, in having a backup option that isn't just Greenwood, isn't just Forshaw, and can provide a bit of competition for Rocker if Rocker's not playing well. That for me is more important. It gives more flexibility to go 4-3-3 rather than just do 4-2-3-1. I think it's worth spending a little bit of money to get it in. So
is there anyone else in for him? I've seen Arsenal sort of links or mentioned.
I don't think there is. I don't think Arsenal are after him. I think if Arsenal were after him, they'd get him. They've just had a £60 million bid turned down for Moises Caicedo at Brighton. That's a very different type of player, and it's a very different caliber of player as well, if I'm honest. I mean, if you're in the market for that, surely if they have 60 million to blow on a man from Brighton, they've got the money to do this Weston McKennie deal with their eyes closed and more. So they've been done by now. So yeah, I don't accept the Arsenal thing. I think it's bollocks. But yeah, I mean, let's focus on tomorrow. Let's focus on the FA Cup. And Mike, I know you're definitely the kind of man getting his trumpet out, strike up the band. We're going to Wembley and we're gonna win the FA Cup. We're going to Europe. Tomorrow is our first 4th round tie since 2017, which was famously lost at Sutton United. We win. It's our first 5th round tie since the year before, which we lost to Watford. The FA Cup's not been nice to us. So why should all you give us all a reassuring message, Mike? Why should I feel like tomorrow's going to be any different?
Because I feel that Marsh wants to do well in the cup, and he likes cup. He's won cups in Austria many times, and I just feel that, especially with groups, the cups that clubs have already gone out or will go out tomorrow or Sunday, it will suit us. We can go and play against City or Arsenal on the day and beat them. I truly do believe that. And then, or even if we get a Wrexham, Southampton, whoever we get, it's then the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Bit of belief in the squad. It will get us there.
The more games you get as well, the more you got players that are not necessarily getting minutes all the time. Pains me to say it, Llorente should play tomorrow, but he won't play in the league. It's minutes. It's minutes getting in the belt for everybody, right?
I get that. I still think that we should play a strong side. Not so much rotation though.
So no Llorente for you. Spoiler alert.
No. But no doubt, unless Cooper's fit,
yeah,
he will play because it's Cox. No, Cox not suspended for this game, is he?
No, he's suspended for Forest.
Yeah,
I think Cox probably will play just because it's a long time to be without football based on just the 3 games, isn't it? But Chris, what about you? Chris, the FA Cup for you. Why is it different? Because I'll be honest, I feel different. I don't necessarily feel too much dread towards tomorrow. There's still a little bit of me that feels like away at Accrington, League One, we know where this is going. But because of the momentum that's building ever so slightly, don't get me wrong, if we lose tomorrow, I'll be the first person on Twitter going, get him out. But at the same time, if we get a win tomorrow, and it feels like it's building that way, the people that are available, look at where they are, look at where we are. We're not that dodgy 15th place championship side anymore that was just coming up against Histons, and it was all set up for us to fail. It's a nice pitch. It's not a shithole. We don't know who they've got up front. It could be a big burly lad that's going to throw Llorente around. It could be. We don't know. But if it doesn't feel ominous this time, it feels like we could enjoy, because Cardiff was enjoyable. The 5-2 at Ellen Road, obviously the last 10 minutes where they scored 2 goals, maybe not. But the bit where we were scoring 5 goals, I actually really enjoyed that game. And, tomorrow could be the same, right?
I think so. I mean, I'm more confident because it's the 4th round. I think the 3rd round, everyone maybe takes a bit lightly because they don't. It's a long way to the 5th round, the quarters from there. Some of the players might have taken Cardiff not seriously enough that they just think, okay, they're near the bottom of the championship, where sort of nowhere near them at the moment. But now we've kind of had that wobble, seen that there's no pushovers. Marsh especially, I think they'll be going for it. I think they'll be playing a strong team. Now we're in the 4th round. Let's gamble and let's go a bit further because we've got the squad. It's not like we're normally I come in here and say we've only got 11 players to pick from, but we don't now. We've probably got a good 16, 17 players to sort of fit in somewhere.
This is the best squad he's had to pick from since he came, easily. And that's not just with the transfer window. People are fucking fit. No one's broken. And we were all saying before we came live on air, and I know Mike was just alluding to it then, but you look at the other games that are going on. You've got Arsenal and City going on at the minute. I'm sorry, I genuinely don't have a clue what the score is. Chris, if you want to have a quick look and tell me in a sec. But, we're playing the early kickoff tomorrow. At the same time as us, you've got Leicester, who are away at Walsall. Same as us, could be a banana skin. Other than that, the Premier League sides you've got playing over the weekend, Fulham at home to Sunderland. If Fulham get past Sunderland, we get Fulham in the next round. It's nothing to fear. If you look at the other Premier League teams, there is Tottenham away at Preston. Tottenham should get through that. Man United at home to Reading. Man United should get through that. But then you've got Brighton and Liverpool playing each other. That's one of, again, you've got Arsenal or Man City going out tonight. You've got Brighton or Liverpool going out on Sunday. There's still scope for a Leicester or a Fulham or a Tottenham or a Man U to fall out of the tie on Saturday. And then Monday night, you've got Derby versus West Ham. But of the teams above us in the table that I would think don't really want to get them, I want to keep getting easy draws all the way up to a semi-final or whatever. There's not many Premier League teams left in this competition. We're already one of the highest ranked teams left in this competition. You get to the 5th round and the teams that have been swept aside again, we could end up being one of the highest ranked teams left when you get to the quarterfinals. And then all you are is one game away. And I was saying before we went live, if you said to most Leeds fans, look, it's going to be a bit of a drag, the league season. You're not going to get relegated. You'll finish 14th or 15th, but you'll get to a semi-final of an FA Cup. You'll have your day out at Wembley. You'll get dicked by Liverpool or Man United or someone like that, but at least you get to sing your songs in London. we'd fucking take that, right? Surely, like Chris Mead would be on that website first thing, like, get me fucking tickets to Wembley.
Yeah, probably still miss out on tickets, but nice to try.
There's a very bitter message inside there, isn't there, Chris? This is a man that hasn't been able to secure Man United tickets as of yet, but we are hopeful. Don't laugh.
Tickets are still in the post, so yeah.
They're coming.
I'll check my door tomorrow.
We believe. Mike, what's ticket situation? Wembley Cup final, Cup semi-final. The ideal for you?
I said from the start of the season,
we're going to win the FA.
Bottom mid-table and a cup run. I'll take your hands off for it.
Yeah,
you haven't had a cup run. Well, years.
If it depends what you class as a cup run. The 5th round is the furthest we've gone in the last 8-9 years. So, and
exactly. That is a cup run I can remember. So
I couldn't even tell you when we last got to a quarter final, semi final. I genuinely haven't looked that far.
I looked the other day. I think it was 2000, 2001, something like that.
Great.
That long ago.
Yeah, we're all. None of us had hit puberty at that point. I hope. Well, Chris, maybe.
So,
Chris,
no, I would love a cup. I would love a cup run.
Yeah, mate. Everyone would love a cup run, and I think it's one of them strange ones where I think we can feel like it's coming. And fingers crossed. Even I feel positive, Chris. That's a reason to be happy. So what Marsh did give away in his press conference, he did basically say Sinistera will play, Rutter will play. So we'll go for lineups. And Mike, obviously, you've already kind of given away big time. You want to see a really strong squad. So yeah. I'm gonna ask you, give me your. In fact, we'll go position by position. I want to know your goalkeeper because obviously Meslier played the second leg, didn't he, against Cardiff? But Robles played the first. I believe Robles played the first because Meslier was ill or nursing something, which is why Meslier, as soon as he was fit, was back in for the second leg. What would you do in net tomorrow, Mike?
I'd probably say Robles. I'd rather not, but I think that it will do him some good. I think that have a cup keeper at least. Yeah. If he doesn't do well, then we know he's no good.
Fair enough. If we go out and that cut run you wanted is in the bin, blame it all on Robles.
Exactly, and then sack him.
Get him in the bin. Chris, what about you? Who would you start in between the sticks tomorrow?
So I'll go Meslier. I think you can't really win in this scenario, and Marsh especially can't win if he puts Meslier in and he gets injured. That everyone's going to say why the hell is this guy there, and it puts the league position in massive threat. So there is risk, but there's also risk in training. There's a risk when he walks out the door. You can get injured anywhere. So I just think a goalie doesn't need the rest and put him in, build his confidence. It's not like he's perfect every game. He still needs the practice, and I just think keep him in there.
Yeah, I must admit, I would normally be all in favour of what you said, Mike. Of don't mind there being a cup keeper. You see all the big Champions League teams, they do it. They've got one that starts the league games, one that starts the Champions League games, and stuff like that. But obviously, I went to the Cardiff away leg with Lad and Dad and watched Joe Robles. I don't think he did well. And I've only seen him in bits and starts, but I don't think he has done well yet. And if it is a case of this game going well tomorrow can really build that momentum, and it can give us something to take Nottingham Forest and maybe give us a bit of belief, and we go and get that win, and then we start to climb the table, and then we go to Man United with an FA Cup 5th round to look forward to with 3 points in the bag compared to we struggle a bit against Accrington Stanley, or we bottle it against Accrington Stanley. We then go and balls it all up against Forest, or we only come out with a point or something, and then you've got 2 games against Scum to look forward to in 4 days. That's the scenario where Dreadful Phil looks at it and goes, Marshy's going to get beaten twice by Scum in 4 days and get fired. That's where I go there. But then if you look at what you were saying, we get to the 5th round, we beat Nottingham Forest, we go to those 2 games against Scum, 2 points, 2 draws. Fucking great, march in. It is literally that wafer thin. So if it's that wafer thin, go Melia. You think, or you still like, nah, fuck it, Robless?
Yeah, still Robless. Mate, their top goal scorer's only got 6 goals all season.
Fair.
So,
Jorginho Rutter's only got 2.
Yeah, but their expected goals is 0.97.
1 minute. You said you don't know fucking research. Where's this come from?
My phone.
You've got Accrington Stanley's XG.
Yeah, they've also conceded 2 points something as well, expected goals.
Hey, my position's under threat here, Chris.
I've got no stats to offer, I'm afraid. So you're safe here.
Mike, hand it over to you, mate. It's all you. The right back position then. I won't make the joke of you're going to give it Drama. Obviously, Drama's now gone. Luton on loan. Yeah. Wonderful, great news. Someone else gone out on loan that we need to talk about as well when we get to the striker position. Interesting. But right back, Mike, who are you going? There's only 2 to choose from.
Rasmus.
Is he your cup defender then, or is that
No, he is my right back.
He's your right back. I saw this actually. We were discussing this on the last show. You pretty much everyone from All Leeds TV, when you did your predicted lineups, went Rasmus over Ayling. Ayling's the one that's been getting picked recently as first choice. Do you think Marsh is wrong with doing that? Why are you going Rasmus over Ayling?
I just prefer like the way that he attacks. Obviously, our defending is just poor anyway, and I see Ayling make more of a mistake than what Rasmus does. Giving sloppy passes away, silly tackles at times. Yes, fair enough. Rasmus does do silly tackles, but I just think that Ayling is more prone to error.
Okay, fair enough. Chris, who's your right back?
I'm going to go the same as Mike. Christensen, but I guess for different reasons. I'd say Ayling is at the moment our best right back. I've always wanted Christensen. Probably for most of the season, I've backed him as the first choice right back, but he just seems to have fallen down the pecking order. And I've quite liked what I've seen of Ayling. He's not been perfect, but defensively he's always solid enough, and I just feel he offers a bit more going forward with the overlaps and the runs he does. So I'd give him a rest and hope Christensen sort of finds some form. Yeah,
I'm with Gail. Rasmus for the cup for me. I think Ayling is seemingly first choice for the league games at the moment, rightly or wrongly. But I can't sit here and say Ayling's perfect. There are things that Mike said that very much rung true, going of crazy sliding tackles in the 90th minute that just don't need to be done. But I haven't been sold on Rasmus yet in the league games, and again, down at Cardiff in that first leg, I thought Rasmus looked really poor, and I know it was a very different first half to a second half. But Cody Drama, when he came on, as much as he's gone, he's off at Luton now. That's fine, and he's not an option. I thought Drama had a much better second half, and agreed a much improved team performance. But Rasmus didn't offer enough for me in a game like that. So yeah, I think it's right at the moment for me that Ayling's starting ahead of him, but I would still go with Rasmus tomorrow. So I'm assuming nobody, even though we've all put Rasmus at right back, nobody's going to be putting Luke Ayling at right centre back now. No. So give me your centre back pairing, Mike. I think you've already kind of given it away a bit, but I'll let you tell us.
Koch and Verber.
Is that with a caveat of maybe if Cooper's fit or maybe if he isn't, or is that just completely anyway?
No, that would be my centre-back pairing going forward.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair enough. Chris, similar?
No, well, agree. I think they look great together as well. One showing, so can't really say that, but I was happy with them. I'd probably like to see if it's comfortable. I guess Verber get a rest, maybe bring Llorente on if it's comfortable, because he's obviously going to have to play against Well, in the next game.
Yeah, I think for me the centre back pairing very much depends on who is at left back, and I've made the weirdest U-turn in that I've begun to like Junior Firpo in a weird way. I don't know why.
Finally.
I'm not sure if it's just out of a case of like Firpo scores, we're on the pitch, that kind of vibe, and I don't know why every game we go to now, me and Lad have got this thing where when Firpo warms up, we both look at each other like, he's fucking coming on. It's coming on. Come on, Firpo time. And I don't know whether that's just the cynicist inside me that's just waiting for something to go horrendously wrong so I can hate him again, because it's been that long. But the only times that he's come on lately, he's looked good. I mean, it is lower league opposition when you 5-0 up, but whatever. Yeah. So the left back situation for me, I think the lineup in general, I can put it down to the changes that I would make would be limited, but the changes I would make would be people that for me in the recent run of games, both league and cup, look like they need a rest. And the last two comments to come in, the one person in the back four for me that needs a rest, and that is Pascal Struijk. I would not be playing Pascal, whether it be at left back, whether it be at centre back, in this game. And to be honest, I'd consider not playing him against Forest, depending on how tomorrow goes. For me, that's only if Verba goes to left back, just to be clear. I'm not saying start Firpo at Forest. But the centre back pairing for me, I agree with you guys. The Koch and Verba thing looks to be the most solid. And tomorrow I would go Koch and Verba as long as Firpo starts at left back. But if Firpo's not starting at left back, then I'd just move Verba to left back and play Koch, and I'd even let Llorente play, for fuck's sake, man. I don't know what's going on with me, honestly. I say put a strong side out, and then I'm sat here saying play Firpo and Llorente together on the left-hand side again. I must be going mental. But no, I think there are players that need a rest. There's players that have played a lot of minutes. There's players that are looking like they're a bit out of form. If that's the case, then for me, I'd like to see Pascal. I won't get ahead of myself and name the others, but Pascal for me needs to come out tomorrow just for his own confidence and just for a bit of a rest. Do either of you two know the answer to this? Is Cooper injured? I know he kind of spoke about it slightly, but he didn't really confirm one way or another. Would you expect him to be involved tomorrow?
I haven't heard anything, but I mean, if he is, he'll probably be on the bench.
Yeah, it sounded like it was out, but
yeah, the word doubt was used, which yeah. So, who are you guys having at left back? Given that's your centre back pairing, come on, give me your Firpos.
Exactly, that's my main man. He's my left back.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going Firpo as well. Just
all aboard the Firpo train.
I mean, if he can't perform in this sort of game, when's he going to perform? So yeah, give him a chance.
The problem is, because we didn't get tickets, what do we actually do tomorrow if Firpo scores?
Firpo will score.
Where will we all go? Because I'm going to be stood in my mum's kitchen. I can't get on the pitch. I need to do something if Firpo scores.
Go and find a lake and jump in it.
I live right next to one. It could happen.
There you go.
Don't jump in lakes, guys, if you are watching. So before we go on to the midfield, I'm going to double check formations with both of you. Chris, 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1. I thought you said 4-3-3-3-1. Fucking hell.
That'd be good. Yeah, we'll go for that as well.
Do that too. Mike, 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
4-2-3-1.
Okay. I mean, I would always go 4-3-3 given the option, but because you've outvoted me, we'll play that game. That's fine. Who's in your two then, Mike? Don't say Adams and Rocker, please.
I wasn't going to. I was going to mix it up actually.
Yeah.
Yarby and Greenwood.
Ooh, you're taking both of them out. Fucking hell, you said go strong.
I like Greenwood and I want Greenwood to start.
Right.
But it's then who else would start? Unless you're going to play Greenwood and Rocker. For me, that's the only other option. I think you rest Adams.
Yeah, I can see the rationale behind resting Adams, I wouldn't, but I can see
I
why.
don't think he will, but
Mm.
I would like to see Greenwood play.
What about Chris? What's your double pivot? Michael's saying absolutely no double pivot, just fucking all out attack. I like it, Michael. Very good.
Yeah, I think mine's probably more attacking up. Yeah, I think there's a few players that need a rest, so I've gone with Rocker and Jarvie in the team.
Okay, I mean, so you guys gone the same? Have you been conferring or something backstage? What's this? You got private messages going?
Well, I think we had a Greenwood there, didn't we?
Yeah, I had Greenwood.
Same thing, whatever.
I do have Greenwood in the team, though.
Okay. Oh, you want him further up? Interesting. So for me, I think one of Adams or Rocker has to play. I don't think you can rest both. And I can definitely see why people would say leave Tyler Adams out. He's played a lot of football, give the boy a rest. But for me, the one that looks more tired out of the two and the one that is, again, out of form for me is Matt Rocker. I don't think he's looked good for a while, to be honest. I'm not sold on him. And I think if there's one game where you give him a rest and let him get back up to speed ready for Forest, because let's be honest, them two start next to each other at Forest regardless. For me, I would Pascal, let him have a rest. Matt Rocker, second on my list. I've already given away who the third one is anyway earlier in the show, but they're my three players that need a rest. So I would keep Adams in. I'm not entirely sure who I would go for in terms of going next to him. It's either Sam Greenwood or it's Darko JB, but we all know Jesse Marsh is, if he had to lean to one more than the other, he'd definitely go Greenwood over JB all day. Unless he's going to do what Chris is suggesting and play Greenwood further up. But just with the amount of attacking options in that front four, surely I'm really interested to see where you're going to get fucking Sam Greenwood in this front four with all the options available. But enlighten me, who's your three behind the striker? Chris?
So I've got Greenwood in the middle. So yeah, he doesn't need to be too far forward, but in the middle position.
Chris, are you this person? Is this you, Skip?
That's not me, no, but it's a good idea. I think he's useful for set pieces. We're going to have a lot of set pieces tomorrow, and I think put him in for that reason. And then either side, I've gone for Harrison and Reuter. I'd like to see as well on the right. But obviously further up top.
Okay, Mike, you're shaking your head.
This is just as soon as you said Harrison.
Go on.
I guess he's not going to play based on what he said about Sinistera, but that's
what I mean. So Sinistera on one wing.
Yeah.
You are going to say Greenwood in the middle.
Yeah.
Then you're going to play either Notto or Notto on the other wing.
I wouldn't rest Willie Gnonto on the basis of the same reason that I was going to rest my other three people. But do we really need to be playing Willie Gnonto against Accrington, Stanley?
No.
Is that a game that we need to let him get kicked for 90 minutes in? This is one where I kind of think, nah, just let the boy rest. He's done enough. Did you see what he did against Cardiff? You see that fucking bicycle kick, whatever you want to call it, scissor kick? Let the boy rest. Ballon d'Or's coming. Let him rest.
That comment, though, Yarby did play 90 minutes for the under-21s today, so he probably won't play tomorrow.
Well, we've seen them play 90 minutes for the under-21s and then be with the squad and be on the bench, but yeah.
Which is fair enough, but...
Yeah, but he ain't going to play 90 minutes 2 days in a row, is he? Yeah, so he's not starting, so that gives that bit away. So I think for the three in behind the striker, as Chris has alluded to, Marsh has kind of given the game away and that Sinistera will play. For me, the person that's obviously coming out for Sinistera is Brendan Aronson. And that's my other of the three. So I've got Pascal Struijk, Mark Rocker, and Brendan Aronson that all need a rest because I think they're out of form and they should just be given a chance to sort of let someone else play themselves into form. Sinistera for me is coming in for Aronson on that right-hand side. That left-hand side has an opportunity for Jack Harrison to actually play in his favoured position, which hasn't happened much. But we have also seen him. We saw him in the midfield three the other day against Brentford. We've seen him play at 10. So that front three in behind the striker could be anything. But Yeah, I would agree with Chris that Jorginho Rutte is going to be in that three behind the striker by the sounds of it. I don't know what order it's going to be, but I would say the three behind the striker could be Sinisterra, Jack Harrison, Jorginho Rutte, and then whoever you put up front, because there's only now two options with Joe Gelhardt, which we will touch on, going out on loan. That's a fucking threatening front four against Accrington Stanley away in the cup. Surely, Mike, who've you got up front?
I would say Bamford, but unless you're going to play Rodrigo and Bamford just off him. So instead of whoever in the middle, you put Bamford or Rodrigo there. So like a 4-2-2-2.
So what's your preferred front four altogether?
So I'd have Sinisterra, Bamford, Rodrigo, and Ruta. No, yeah.
Sounds naughty, that. That's what I mean. It's fucking Accrington Stanley. And Billy Monto's not even in that.
Exactly.
Chris, what's your striker then?
So I've gone Bamford. I think he played well last game and needs the minutes.
Do you think he can last 90?
I don't know if you can last the 90, but I don't think he needs to. I think if we can, I think it's key to start strong. Just get the game won. If it gets scrappy, we're in trouble, and that's when it favours, I suppose, Accrington. But yeah, get it won, and then we can start bringing on a few other players.
So remind me again, your front four in total. I know Greenwood doesn't excite me quite as much as Mike's did, but
I've got Greenwood. But if it wasn't Greenwood, I'd put Aronson in there because I think he needs to play himself into form. I don't think he's going to get into form not playing, and so I'd put him there. But yeah, I'd have Harrison and then Rita on the outside with Bamford up front.
That's what I mean. Like going away to Accrington, and we've all named different front fours, but a front four which includes the names Sinisterra, Jack Harrison, Rodrigo, Brendan Aronson, Patrick Bamford, Jorginho Rutte, who's cost us 30 million quid. Like, we have got some serious quality to take down there, which is why I suppose it's hard not to feel confident heading into tomorrow's game. I mean, we do look to have the most options we've ever had, I'd say, since we got promoted in the Premier League going forward. Going back looks better now. Max Berber's arrived, but it still, for me, doesn't look quite so reassuring. So I think if there was stuff to be done in the summer transfer window, it's going to be based a lot around that defence. But in terms of against a struggling League One side where you don't expect to Crawley 3-0, concede too many goals, the amount of attacking talent we're taking there, if we cannot score away at Accrington Stanley with that amount of attacking talent tomorrow, there's got to be something wrong. Guys, thank you for playing along with your lineup predictions. Sorry if I haven't flashed everything up, but we want to get your score predictions in, guys. Let us know what you think it's going to be tomorrow. I want to know scores, and if Leeds are going to win and get goals, tell me who scores goals, and we'll flash them up as we go through. But Mike, you feeling positive about tomorrow? If so, what's the score going to be and who's going to get the goals?
I think we'll score at least 4 or 5 goals. Firpo will score. Ruta will score on his debut. And then Bamford with a double.
Take it. I'd take any scenario where Junior Firpo scores. Although,
exactly.
Like I said, if I'm not there when that happens, I will be devastated. Because again, Berardi, I never saw Berardi score in the flesh. Actually, that really upset me. Chris, same for you. You're a positive person. You ain't going to predict us to lose. Who's scoring the goals? And
there shouldn't be many people predicting a loss here, but yeah, I'd say I'm going to go 4-1. I think Bamford 1 or 2. Ruta should score. Green to get as well in his number 10 position.
Okay. I think the common theme of most people that I've heard score predictions from is people do seem to think there's going to be a debut goal for Ruta. Fingers crossed. I'm going to disagree with Michael Pollard. Hopefully we don't concede. We haven't conceded a goal at all while Max Weber's been on the pitch. So let the fucker play 90 minutes. We won't concede. It'll all be fine. I can see us getting goals. I'd take I'd take 1-0 to be honest, and just getting through. But there is the cynicism in me that thinks, if we don't win or lose tomorrow, if we draw, the replay will have to be played on that same date that the Man United game is scheduled for. So you'd have to only play Man United once in 4 days. So I say, draw the bastard. Don't play them twice in 4 days. No, in all seriousness, it should be a routine win. Let's not make it difficult for ourselves. Let's just go there, professional job, win the game. I'm going to go 3-0. Ruta's going to get a goal. I'm going with Mike here. I think it's Firpo time. And then just to add insult to injury, Diego Llorente is going to come off the bench as well and get one. And we're not going to be there, Chris. We're going to miss the day that Firpo and Llorente both score.
Shocking.
So if you think that I'm not a positive person, I've clearly just proved everybody wrong. Yeah. So that was it, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, do the usual, smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Where are you going to be watching the game tomorrow, Mike?
Home, and then the last 10-20 minutes at work.
Fair enough. So fingers crossed for you. We're already 4-0 up by then, and you can go to work in peace. And Chris, what about you? Where are you watching it?
Just at home as well, yeah. Hoping for a nice, relaxing, early couple of goals and just enjoy a comfortable win, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Guys, wherever you're watching the game tomorrow, enjoy. Fingers crossed. Nobody should need to use any illegal streams. It is on BBC One, so save yourself a hassle. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, all that shit, and bonsoir. Smile and wave, everybody.